fill valve and flush valve for a toilet in the back of the toilet, or some may call it the guts of the toilet. We have on the left, we have the fill valve. This is where the water comes in through the bottom, comes up, and then comes back down. It exits here. As one can see, the little holes here on the bottom, it may exit. Okay, you have some fluid that goes over here to the flush valve, and this may go into the overflow. And so the question here is, now why would we need this going into the overflow, and what would be the rationale behind the overflow? If your toilet continues to rise in the water and nothing cuts off, say if this thing becomes defective, your fill valve here, and the water continues to rise, the water level, and then if you didn't have this hole here, which is basically here, as we can see, we have the overflow, the little tube here, but on the flush valve, if we take note of it, we have a hole. It's just an empty hole, but basically it goes down, and then below there's a flapper that sits on top of this like so. Well, this flapper will lift up and down with it'll connect to these dog ears, lift up and down. There's a little hole here in the bottom, so when it overflows here, it's not going right back into the tank. It's actually perhaps going down in the bowl. And also what this can do is actually prevent if you have this overflow here too, it may help, I'm not certain on this, but it may help to keep things from coming back on you. But the water is clean in the back of the tank. So one thing do keep in mind, that in the back of the tank, this is basically comes from perhaps the same source as the rest of your water. This would be fed from the cold side though, it's not the hot side. So what would happen here is, say for instance, one flushes the toilet. Okay, this thing here will drop. Once it drops the float, okay, then the water begins to rise back up. Once the water begins to rise back up, it pushes the float up. Hence, it pushes this arm up. Now, as one can see, this arm is adjustable here, so one can adjust it how high or how low. And then once it pushes it up, it cuts this off, so the water stops. So, and then if one wonders, well, why would we need the water to stop? Well, the water stops when the tank is full, because if the water doesn't stop, then again, going back to this is the fill valve here. If we go back to the flush valve, if the water doesn't stop, it just continues to rise, and the water may come out the side of the lid or somewhere and spill over into the floor. But do keep in mind, it will be just water, but still, you just don't want water on your floor, and especially if you were out of town or gone for any length of time. If this thing continued to run, it could do some damage to your floor. So what would happen is this water here would come up here, then it would drop off in this hole, and this overflow tube here would connect, this little part here would connect here and spray down in here as well. So this is again, this is the fill valve, and this is the flush valve. The cold water comes in here, and then it dissipates from here on the bottom. If you can see the little ports here, it may dissipate here, and then the overflow here would be connected. This part here would be connected here, and this would spray down in here and fill the bowl. So and you think, well, if we're going by logic, you say, well, if we have this overflow here and we have this flush valve here, if water's going back in here, then at this point the water will fill the toilet up. But do keep in mind, that's not the way it works, because if we look at this flush valve here, we can see this opening down below there. So that would be below the flapper. So that water there would exit this water this water here would exit into the toilet itself, into the bowl, instead of into the tank. So, but now where you would find these two items would be the fill valve would be in the tank on a residential toilet. The flush valve would be in the tank. Part of it would be protruding from the bottom of the tank. So if you at some point realize that your toilet, or have been told that your toilet needs to be rebuilt, these are the items you're looking at. On the bottom there's a washer. It has a thing, it goes out, and then this, you'll have a tank to it'll be either tank to bowl to gasket or tank to gasket, I forgot. It's just a little rubber thing, I mean, that'll go over here, and it kind of acts like a shock absorber, so you don't have porcelain on porcelain. So again, the two items in rebuilding the toilet would be your primarily for a residential toilet would be your fill valve. This would be your incoming water. This would discharge your water. This would discharge your water. And this would be your flush valve. Again, fill valve, flush valve. The flush valve would dissipate the water when one hits the lever, the chain picks up, and the flapper picks up, and the water goes down through here. But any overflow that crests over here would go down here and would come out this little hole. As one can see, it goes in here. So this little hole would be underneath the flapper. So hence, being underneath the flapper, when it overflows here, it would go straight into the bowl instead of being on top and going into the tank, because if it went into the tank, it would defeat its purpose, because if it went into the tank, it would just continue to fill the tank up. So it's kind of like this opening here would be a safety feature, I think, and this would kind of be a safety feature. So the elements to rebuild a toilet, part of the elements would be the fill valve, which allows the toilet to fill, and the flush valve, which allows the toilet to flush. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.